some point, you're going to have three players that are making close to $100 million.
A fork in the road. He called it a fork in the road.
So, and others around baseball do look at that and they do say, well, listen, if the other guy was there, maybe, but who are any of these people? What do we know about them and their level of commitment to carry this thing through? We don't know that. Where was I going with this? So, from that standpoint, I got involved because somebody was defending the Padres' finances yesterday on Twitter. And I was like, you don't know what the Padres' finances are. I'm not saying I do. I don't. But what I do know is you can't just scribble down some numbers about ticket sales and revenue that is tossed out there for public consumption and draw a conclusion. That's not the way it works. Do you know anything about the hundreds of millions of dollars of loans that the Padres have taken out? Have you ever heard of Ares? A-R-E-S? John, have you ever heard of Ares? Have people who are, no, why would you? Why would anybody bother paying attention to this stuff? I found out this information a couple of years ago when the Padres, or when San Diego hosted the winter meetings. And somebody said, well, what do you make of the Padres taking out this loan from Ares? I was like, what the fuck is Ares? I don't even know what you're talking about. Then I looked it up and I saw, oh, wow, okay, they've taken out a lot of loans. They've taken out a lot of money. These are the kind of loans, I don't know what kind of return or what kind of rate you get on a loan like this for tens of millions of dollars. We heard the loan from baseball. What is it? I mean, this stuff you can't draw any conclusions, just because you see a sold out crowd. Hey, they sold out 72 times. How bad could it be? It's not the way this works. It's just not the way that works, especially when you have a lot of these contracts. So it is possible somebody looked at this and was like, yo, I'm getting out of the way of this. I mean, this thing is a bus, and I'm not going to be standing in front of this bus when some of these loans come due and some of these other owners are expecting certain things. Peter was willing to cut a check if somebody was, this is speculation, but my understanding was if somebody inside of ownership who had a minority stake in ownership was like, yo, I don't know about these cash calls all the time, be like, how much do you want? Here's a check. Leave. I'm running the team. Here you go. Here's a check. You don't like the way this is being done? Fine. Here you go. I'll buy you out right now. Is that really what John Seiler wants to do? I don't think so.
No, of course not.
So, again, I mean, I just don't believe, people really twisted themselves in the knots to think that, John Seiler was somehow some sort of riding in here on some sort of white horse, willing to, save the day and protect the integrity of the Padres and Peter Sadler's legacy and all this other sort of hokey shit that they would put out there. But I just never really thought it was the case. And I'm not saying that this proves us right. I mean, somebody independently might have looked at the books and said, yeah, listen, somebody's going to have to pay these bills and you still have to deal with this lawsuit. And this lawsuit doesn't seem to be going away between Peter's widow and the rest of the family, unfortunately. And, now we're getting into a spot where some of these contracts and what about this other business deal over here? And, so it's a confluence of events.